Hey guys, Sky here, and y'all ready for another stupid one? If you're old enough to have experienced the Wild West of YouTube, then you're probably getting up there in years. And you also probably remember just the real level of art we were getting back then.
Like a big playground when suddenly Batman burst from the shade and hit Godzilla with a bat grenade.
If you're a real OG, then you definitely remember the golden age of brick films, and more specifically, Forrestfire101. Who is Forrestfire101? I hear none of you say, or at least I shouldn't hear any of you say that, because you do know him, even if you think otherwise. Don't believe me? Well, let's take a look at his uploads. So Forrest Whaley has had a crazy influence on so many childhoods, especially mine. Without him, you wouldn't be watching this video. This channel wouldn't exist. My real goats remember when I, like a lot of other kids in my generation, tried to do my own take on Forrest's Batman series to middling results.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. More money for useless junk. The Riddler Mobile. Put in the keys wrong, then put in the keys right.
Forrestfire Batman, a parody so good that he has his own villains fandom page. This crack-addicted, narcissistic, abusive, murderous, psychopathic war veteran was unironically my hero growing up. And no, that's not a good thing. There have been other videos talking about Forrestfire Batman, usually focusing on the nostalgia of it or the fact that he's even more violent and uncharacteristic of a Batman than Ben Affleck.
Whoa, I gotta be Henry VIII in 20 minutes. Hello, 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 hello. Got it.
And there I was, wondering how I could make a video appreciating the golden era of brick films without coming off as derivative. And then it hit me. I've really been enjoying the new LEGO Batman game for its narrative more than anything else. Comic book characters really are modern mythology, and this game proves it. I just find it so interesting that when telling a Batman story or a Spider-Man story, there are canon events. These characters have infinite room for more stories, but they do also have these fixed events within their mythology that greatly influence other aspects of it. If a Batman has Jason Todd, he will become Red Hood. If Peter Parker is dating Gwen Stacy, she has to have a fear of heights. It's just how it is. I love seeing how Traveler's Tales decided to weave together elements of a shit ton of different Batman stories to make a coherent, consistent, and clever timeline. This was, however, crafted by professionals, so of course the timeline we're actually going to be looking at isn't any of those things. I thought this was going to be a ha-ha funny look at the narrative throughline that a child managed to make up on accident, but then I started noticing weird, crazy inconsistencies, fun little recurring jokes, and so I invite you to join me as I take a plunge into my childhood and try to unravel Forrestfire101's LEGO Batman timeline. So the first step in the research for this video was obviously just sitting down and watching through the series in release order, taking notes of anything that might help narrow down the timeline. You see, despite starting out as a parody, like any good web series that's gone on this long, it started to take itself seriously. Kinda. There's just under 50 videos in the whole series, and that's including shorts, so it's really only the videos from 2012 onward with any care for the through line. I say any care because a lot of these videos are still parodies, just with more mature writing, but all that changed when LEGO Batman Rises released. This is easily the best written, animated, and consequential moment in Forrestfire's Batman run, somehow managing to tie the whole thing together, acting as an incredible thematic retrospective on the series thus far and how it might go forward. But first, we have to watch the videos made by a 12-year-old. The first video in this series is the LEGO Batman Spider-Man team-up, not to be confused with the LEGO Batman Spider-Man movie. This first video surprisingly does have a good amount of lore, like Batman stating that he and Spider-Man were great friends in college, Gordon lacking a mustache, and the formation of everyone's favorite recurring villain team,
They call themselves the Fearsome Foursome 2.
Then there's Attack of the Joker, where we get our first
Inside the deep dark lair of the Batman.
And R2-D2? Yeah, okay, I guess we're writing that down. And then next is, of course, the crossover everyone wanted. Batman, Spider-Man, and Chewbacca? This is the first time one of the videos ends with a "where are they now" joke, and as I'm sure you can guess, most of them conflict with the rest of the timeline. But I did try to make as many of them work with the timeline as possible, like Batman entering a homosexual relationship with Chewbacca, or Spider-Man going on to host Wheel of Fortune. Let's speedrun the next few ones. Alfred throws a party with his boy Jimmy and accidentally frees the Fearsome Foursome. Batman and Robin spend 2 months undercover to take out Rupert Thorne of all people. Batman gets a girlfriend and Robin's Yandere arc begins. It will last most of the series. Batman gets Robin a sidecar and fights Doc Ock? More importantly, this video is the first mention of Batman's crack addiction.
Damn it, Batman, you and your crack habits.
I understand that that section seems incomprehensible to anyone who's not insanely familiar with these videos like me, but I just wanted to highlight some of the important elements of this series. You know, like how Robin is gay, Batman's a closeted crack addict, and there's no distinction between Marvel and DC.
Alfred, I'm pretty sure Dr. Octopus can't come here because we live in the DC universe, and, he's copyrighted by Marvel. I don't really think that's possible, and I'm pretty sure there's a lawsuit brewing here.
There's functionally no distinction between Marvel and DC. But now that we've laid the ground rules, allow me to justify what I believe to be the chronological viewing order of this series. We started in 1944 with the Gotham Gazette's Wayne featurette. Forrest has had a lot of fun with his version of Thomas Wayne in recent years, and yeah, this guy being Batman's father explains a lot.
Thomas!
Ah, this must be what street people call blood. Charming.
Next year, the Waynes take a stroll down the aptly named crime alley and meet a guy named Joe who has no chill. You know what happens next, but the important distinction is that in this timeline, Thomas says this as he dies.
Put on an animal mask and beat up the poor people.
I reason that the Wayne's murder happens a year after the featurette, because in the comics, we're going to use the comics to fill in blanks because, like I said earlier, canon events, but in the comics, Bruce is 8 when his parents die. Placing their death in 1945 means that Bruce was born in 1937, the year Batman debuted. Neat. Next, we have a big time gap. We don't actually know much about this Batman's training, but we do know that at some point before he put on the cowl, he'd gone to college with Spider-Man and, of course, served in Vietnam alongside Santa Claus. Yeah, this Batman is besties with Santa, who's also a violent war criminal. But yeah, Santa and Batman fought in Vietnam, and I guess that means Bruce Wayne isn't a draft dodger, unlike some people? We don't know too much about what happened during their time in Nam other than being held prisoner in a POW camp for 3 months. But yeah, I guess that's how this Batman trained. The next video is also one of the newer ones. Ivy's Vegan Vendetta. I've decided that this is early on because Poison Ivy never shows up again, and there's also no mention of Robin here. That's pretty rare in this series, so I kinda need some things to fill out Batman's earlier years. And with his not outright disrespect for the law in this one, I'm inclined to believe he's younger. Then Batman tells Santa what he wants for Christmas. Here, Santa says Bruce is 52 years old, placing this video in 1990, and also implying that Bruce put on the cowl when he was like 40? That's gotta make him like 60 or 70 by the end of the timeline, no? Next are 2 videos we've already talked about. The Batman-Spider-Man team-up and its Chewbacca-centric sequel. This is some time after the last video since Batman has a Robin, and it has to be kinda early since Spider-Man is a main character in this timeline. And in this episode, they state that they're reconnecting for the first time since college. They're also drinking Mr. Pibb, the official drink of Batman and Spider-Man, which is why I believe the Chewbacca movie takes place right after, because they're still catching up and drinking Mr. Pibb. Next, I'm going to place the first annual Christmas special. Here, Batman's wearing the black suit like he's been doing recently, and Joker kills Santa. Now, characters die and return in basically every episode of this series, but this video came out before Forrest had fully conceptualized his version of Santa Claus. He even looks different. So I'm gonna say this is Santa's one free pass and move on with my life. I think it's time to address the Robin-shaped elephant in the room since the next video is the Scarecrow. The only reason this is here in the timeline is because Scarecrow is stated as a new villain in this episode and he kinda needs to be in some upcoming stories. This, however, makes the first appearance of the Tim Drake Robin suit. Now, don't get it twisted, this is still Dick, but there's literally no other way to make the timeline work without having it so Batman and Robin just switch suits when they feel like it. So even though Forrest probably did intend for the suits to be the distinction between the Robins, we're just gonna chalk it up to fashion choices. Superman time! When Robin messes himself up in a skateboard accident, Batman teams up with Superman to defeat this week's villains. Hey look, it's Scarecrow! Superman upshows Batman, which is the start of a rivalry that's also pretty important to this timeline. The villains then meet Lex Luthor, but it doesn't really matter, they lose anyway. Oh, and also Batman leaves Superman to die, but that's not canon or whatever. Also, it's in this episode that we first hear about Batman's crack addiction.
I spent most of my money on crack yesterday. You're actually fired.
Next we have The Robin, where Robin quits for the first time. But because he joined the Fearsome Foursome, we can't have character development yet. Batman and Spider-Man beat them. You could say kill them, but then again, the new LEGO Batman actually kills Deathstroke and Deadshot in the new game, so if they can be rebuilt, Anyway, to make Robin feel better, Batman takes him to spend all of Alfred's life savings on a big shopping spree. It doesn't matter though, because Alfred and his boy Jimmy throw a massive party and accidentally free the fearsome foursome and somehow not destroy the Batmobile. This part's important. It's about time the Bat family expands, don't you think? Lego Batman New Sidekicks is next, where, you guessed it, Lego Batman gets new sidekicks. Batgirl and Bathound. Also, the moon freezes and it crashes into Earth, killing everyone. But that's neither here nor there. Now we move on to one of the more iconic videos. Joker's team up.
You can say hello to my boot as it cracks her head open like a fucking watermelon.
In this episode, Mark Hamill Joker and Heath Ledger Joker team up. Now, I hope you're thinking, how can there be multiple Jokers in this timeline? Well, remember when I said we'd use comics to fill in the blanks? Yeah, that's right. 3 Jokers is canon to Forrestfire's Lego Batman timeline. I don't care how bad 3 Jokers is, it's the neatest way to make this work. Especially when you remember that in one of the earliest videos, Batman asks if he's dealing with the Jack Nicholson Joker or the Heath Ledger Joker. This has been established canon for almost 20 years now. This world's 3 Jokers are Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, and Heath Ledger. Technically, there's even 3 different voice actors for the Joker in this series, so it just works too well. Anyway, it is in this episode that Dick builds his first
wormhole generator to bridge our universe with another dimension.
Groovy.
This is very important. Bringing to this timeline, Christian Bale Batman. Yes, so there are now 2 Batmen running around in this timeline, and this opens the door to the rest of Forrest's Christian Bale Batman shorts. It's officially been a year, and it's time for another Christmas special. Santa needs Batman's help to save Mrs. Claus from Mr. Freeze. They fight through Mr. Freeze's goons and... oh, wait, holy shit, is that Joe Chill? So yeah, I guess Bruce just doesn't recognize him here, and yeah, anyway, plot twist, Mr. Freeze is Santa's son. He's 40 years old, just a child. Human shield! Huh, I guess that's from Nam. The sidecar happens next, and we learn that Batman is the one who sold the Millennium Falcon to Lando Calrissian to fund his crack habits.
Damn it, Batman, you and your crack habit.
Anyway, Indiana Jones and Short Round cameo in this, which is important, and Spider-Man runs over Batman and Robin, driving a car he probably got with Wheel of Fortune money, come to think of it. It's somehow been another year, and we have Santa's final hurrah. The Justice League is throwing a holiday party with the likes of Spider-Man, Batgirl, Indiana Jones with his sidekick, Short Round, and Gordon with a mustache. Santa joins the Justice League for exactly 1 mission to Arkham Asylum. It goes horribly wrong. Gotham Airport blows up and then Green Lantern bursts in, killing Santa and then himself because he's an atheist. It does not get much funnier than that. Santa, why? Batman is really torn up by Santa's death, and it's at this point I've decided to place his true crack spiral. Oh, also, it's at this point in the timeline, I think, that you can watch the Forrestfire Indiana Jones shorts, wherein he replaces Short Round with Mutt. There's low-key an argument to be made that Forrest's indie parodies are, like, funnier than his Batman ones. This shit is genuinely golden for how young he was.
Natives! Damn it. Lord Vader's not going to be happy about this.
Next is the Indiana Jones movie 2. That's right, not number 1. Here, Indy recently had to replace Short Round with Mutt. Robin and Mutt trade places, only to decide to leave their fathers and form the Teen Titans at the end. They don't actually end up leaving their fathers, but it seems they do form the Teen Titans, because next up is... in LEGO Justice League, Robin talks about the Teen Titans and Starfire and things...
She's so horny. It's weird.
This is just a regular Justice League mission, and the only real contradiction I can find in this placement is Green Lantern still being alive. I kind of got the vibe that the Justice League would disband after the last mission, but with Short Round having attended the party and the Teen Titans existing here, somehow our best option is to make Green Lantern immortal. This is honestly the continuity error that bugs me the most, especially since we know Hal Jordan gets replaced in this timeline. Ugh. Anyway, Batman's been dealing with Dick being a pain in his ass for long enough, eh? Nightwing's origin is next, where, you guessed it, Dick becomes Nightwing. As we'll see later, however, it's not exactly going to work out. Batman doesn't really care Dick is gone, however. He's just busy drowning himself in crack habits. It's at this point, like in the comics, Tim Drake Robin is kind of just forced on him. Indiana Jones movie 3 is next, where we see Batman is somehow getting welfare checks from the government for having declared bankruptcy.
Damn it, Batman, you and your crack habit.
Anyway, this is our first Tim Drake adventure, kinda. When he and Mutt are left behind for the post-credit scene, it seems Tim doesn't really like Mutt, how Dick did. So that's just how I justify this being Tim in my head and, you know, the suit. Anyway, let's keep going. Lego Batman Spider-Man Movie 2 is next, and we got one of my favorite moments in the show.
Dude, this game is so amazing.
I know, right? It's really good.
The villains have teamed up with Green Goblin, but Heath Ledger Joker fucking hates him.
You are so lame. Who the f dresses up like a goblin?
Alfred somehow destroyed the Batmobile when partying with Jimmy. This has to be a different party because it wasn't damaged last time. So Batman and Spider-Man drive the backup Batmobile.
You okay?
No, not really. I got my arm torn off.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I guess we should go to Target and get a new one.
They don't make Lego Spider-Man anymore, though.
Holy shit, is that Shane Dawson? Next is
Human Shield!
for obvious reasons.
This is my backup bat car. She's a beauty, isn't she? Batman, this thing's a piece of crap. She's a beauty, isn't she?
Then is the Riddler.
What, Robin? Riddler's getting away.
Yeah. Oh, ow. Oh my god. Ow. You ruptured my appendix. Ah.
Now is the aforementioned Lego Batman Spider-Man Movie 1, where Batman makes the first distinction between Marvel and DC, but at this point I have to chalk that up to being a crack-fueled delusion. I think this video is actually really important for Batman's addiction arc since it shows the first real cracks forming in the friendship between him and Spider-Man, you know? He's not really taking Santa's death well. Also, we get this iconic bit.
Batman, why is everything gay to you? I'm just working with what you give me, Robin.
You guessed it, it's time for the last Indiana Jones crossover. The Lego Batman and Indiana Jones Movie 1. Yeah, the first one actually fits best here, towards the end, acting as sort of a finale to the crack arc. Here, the bank is repoing the Batcave. Bruce is finally officially broke, so at rock bottom, he hires Indiana Jones to go on a sick adventure to pay to get the Batcave back. Spoiler, they don't get it back. I mean, obviously they do, but how? Let me introduce you to the Ultimate Lego Race, an absolute Forest Fire classic. While there's never prize money mentioned, Dan and Phil win a shit ton of money betting on Batman. So I'm gonna elect to believe Bruce did the same, betting on himself and winning enough money to get, you know, back in the saddle. I sure hope no one steals that money. Next is The Riddler Returns.
You know, the one where I return?
Not much happens here other than Batman having sold the Batcomputer for a popcorn maker, but there have been 2 Batcomputers since the earliest videos in the series, so I think we can gloss over that. Also, this video has what is to this day still my favorite riddle ever.
What is at the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, and the beginning of every end, and the end of every race? Very interesting riddle. I got it, Batman. It's the letter E. E for Edward Cullen, the character in the new Twilight film.
Then Joker watches The Hills, where it's established that this universe's Harley Quinn is with Heath Ledger Joker, and none of the others. Time for another one I mentioned before, Going Undercover. The most consequential part of this timeline is the 2 months that Batman and Robin spend undercover, during which time I've elected to slot in one of the newer videos, Justice is Gay, IMAX. Now, I know the original version of this video ends with a Zack Snyder joke, but this version plays it straight. You may think that Jared Leto Joker being here destroys the 3 Jokers theory, but you're wrong. Jared Leto Joker has never actually counted as a real Joker. It's as simple as that. Next is Robin's birthday, where it seems the fearsome foursome has expanded and replaced Jack Nicholson Joker with Heath Ledger. My god, this theory understands the source material so well.
Alright. How about we have Bane rip his lungs out, Penguin's birds can shit all over him, Joker can put a smile on his face, Mr. Freeze can freeze him, and Two-Face can flip his coin to see if he wants to kill Batman or not.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
I'm in.
I say yes.
I'm all in.
Batman invites basically everyone to Tim's birthday party, including Nightwing, the villains, and a woman named Karen.
Aren't you the Batman?
The villains do their thing and Batman decides that guns rule. Time for everyone's favorite Forest Fire film, the Lego Batman Spider-Man Superman movie.
What you talking about, Willis?
What is Willis talking about?
When the internet's growing popularity kills both the Daily Bugle and the Daily Planet, Peter and Clark decide to become Bruce's new roommates, which seems cool at first, but they end up just using him for his money and leaving him to fight the villains on his own. They also rob Batman to make him feel better. It gets so bad that Batman leaves the Batcave to join the villains, while Soups and Spidey just party with Batgirl and Jimmy and R2-D2 and Batgirl and Jules from Pulp Fiction and Indiana Jones. Having inherited Batman's financial obligations, Superman and Spider-Man are fucked over when Bruce withdraws all of the money from his account. They decide the best course of action is revenge, but it doesn't go very well. I'm inclined to believe this is the final death of Spider-Man. Something about the intentionality of it, I mean, just this whole sequence, it makes me feel like this was meant to be Spider-Man's final appearance. And as such, in this timeline, it is. Also, I forgot to mention that Harley is canonically trans in this timeline.
Should get that penis removed.
Anyway, to get that money back, Bruce sells out. Dark Knight coffee, and let me tell you, it sure does pack a punch. Pow! Moving on, we have The Girlfriend, where Tim learns that Batman has been dating Karen from the party. Robin, inherently being a yandere for Batman, tries to kill her, but fails. Batman and Karen walk off into the sunset, but evidently they broke up because, soon after, some of the worst villains of all time gather in Gotham, including
my ex-girlfriend.
Batman runs them over though, so it's fine. Next is Robin's babysitter, who is just Heath Ledger Joker. In fact, Batman got a babysitter specifically so he could go deal with another Joker, Mark Hamill. Hear me out. Around this same time, Forrest released The Killing Joke, a short animated version of the Joker's speech from the end of the titular comic, featuring a more faithful and impressive performance by YouTuber Patrick Gertz, doing a Mark Hamill impression. Better than Mark Hamill himself in that god-awful movie. Ugh. Anyway, as we know, Babs has to become Oracle in this timeline, meaning The Killing Joke has to happen, and Dick also has to be surprised by this information. I posit that while Heath Ledger Joker is babysitting Tim Drake Robin, Forrestfire Batman goes to participate in the Killing Joke story, and eventually kills Mark Hamill Joker. And yes, Batman does kill Joker at the end of the Killing Joke. This isn't open for discussion, especially in this timeline where Batman has no problem killing. Here, I'm going to use the intentionality rule again, and because Alan Moore was very intentional, this is where Mark Hamill Joker dies. Rest in peace to the best Joker. After all this time, Nightwing finally returns, and he's not doing well. Turns out batarangs are too expensive, so he begs Bruce to take him back. Bruce is like, yeah, sure, you're way better than that other Robin.
Robin, I said go to bed!
Tim is set to become the new butler while Dick becomes Robin once more. Except, duh, Nightwing is way cooler than Batman. He even did the Lego Batman movie joke first. I'm not kidding, that's actually where this is from. Tim joins the villains, as Robins are wont to do, but this time during the fight, Tim actually dies. Then Dick hits his head and forgets his time as Nightwing and goes back to being a docile little Robin.
What happened?
Tim is never mentioned again. But we'll talk about him later. We're almost done. During Dick's second, shorter tenure as Robin, Batman got a ridiculous cape. He bought up all of Warner Brothers stock to shut down the production of Batman v Superman to stop the Snyderverse before it ever happened, thank God, and floods the cave with many, many bats. And we've done it. We've made it to the finale. Heath Ledger Joker finally dies. We know this is Heath Ledger Joker because Harley Quinn is the one mourning him, leaving this timeline with no more Jokers. This is a problem because, as we established a while ago, beating up the Joker is how Batman gets his jollies. Essentially, a Batman without a Joker is depressed, and this one had 3. 8 years go by. Dick once again becomes Nightwing. But when he learns how bad Batman has been doing all this time, he has yet another old idea. Dick returns to the Batcave to build his second ever
wormhole generator to bridge our universe with another dimension.
Groovy.
Meeting Oracle and an old-ass Alfred in the process. The portal somehow becomes a Terran reality, spewing out infinite Jokers from across the multiverse. We cut back to Batman, running once again into his ex.
Hey, aren't you the Batman?
Don't talk to me.
Low-key, the most impressive shot in the movie happens, and then Batman spots his first new Joker.
Yeah! Still got it.
Shit gets crazy, Bruce gets captured along with Nightwing in the Justice League, and when all seems lost, Batman has his first real moment of reflection in like 60 years, it seems. Only to be saved by Babs.
I hacked that acid straight out of this dimension.
And you turned it into bricks?
They free the Justice League, beat back the Jokers, and even let a few go so that we can still have LEGO Batman videos. Babs ices herself somehow, and for plot reasons, the Rift spits out Damian Wayne, our third official Robin. And that, my friends, is the complete, unabridged Forrestfire101 LEGO Batman timeline. Just one more thing I want to mention before I close out this video. There's no real trace of Jason Todd in this timeline. However, Forrestfire fans among you probably know that his next LEGO Batman video is actually going to be a Red Hood video. Now, there's every possibility that in a few months' time, that video is going to come out and destroy this entire timeline. But hear me out. Forrest, hear me out. This timeline already has a dead Robin with a grudge against Batman. It's like a low-hanging fruit, right? I've essentially convinced myself in the process of making this video that this Red Hood has to be Tim Drake. Otherwise, you just wasted a bunch of time, and I wasted even more time. But, I don't know. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. This took way more work than I thought it would. It was a nightmare. If you've made it this long, your reward is, of course, Toby. Not a LEGO animation like last time. I'm so sorry that this video took forever to make. Forever. I'm gonna get back to, like, shorter things. Of course. I always say that. I thought this was gonna be a short video. But, you know, I say that about all of them. Anyway, no hint about what's coming next. Love y'all, see y'all. Please subscribe and like, share the video to anyone who you know grew up with these videos. This is a very niche video, and if any like audience, it's a very niche audience I'm going for with this video. And if any video was gonna flop, it'd be this one, and it just turned out to be really quite long. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.